The ocean.
In our minds, it often manifests as an endless expanse of azure water, with white-capped waves caressing the shore. But there is another world, a silent realm, lying deep beneath those rolling swells, where sunlight, after its long journey through meters of seawater, is reduced to mere mottled patterns of light dancing upon the bottom. This is the kingdom of sand, of silt, and of lives that have mastered the art of concealment. If you possess the patience to gaze upon that flat seabed, a place that appears at first glance to be empty and desolate, you will realize that this silence is but a sweet lie told by nature. Look closer at the rippling sand. There are eyes watching you, tiny, jet-black eyes, perched atop two long, flexible stalks, rising from the sediment like miniature periscopes. This is the gaze of the ruler of the shallows, the blue swimmer crab. Creation is a master artist, and this crab is one of her most exquisite sculptures. Look at its armor. It is not merely a protective shell, but a masterpiece of camouflage. Upon a canvas of emerald green or deep royal blue, thousands of tiny white speckles are scattered like stars in the night sky, or more accurately, mimicking the very sand grains and crushed shells of the seabed. When a crab lies still, folding its claws tight and burying itself into the sediment, it seems to dissolve. It becomes the sand. It becomes the stone. It becomes an invisible part of the ocean. This invisibility is the first key to survival. Unlike their cousins, the mud crabs, who are often clumsy and slow, the blue swimmer is an underwater ballet dancer and a champion athlete. Mother Nature has bestowed upon them a special gift in their final pair of legs. They are not pointed for gripping rocks, but flattened, thin, and wide like two paddles. Thanks to these flexible oars, the crab is not imprisoned by the seabed. When necessary, they can launch themselves upward, beating the water powerfully to glide through the ocean depths with astonishing speed, free and unbridled. Their territory consists of tidal flats, tranquil bays, or dead coral reefs, where currents bring nutrients and the salinity is just right. But life here is no holiday. Each crab is a solitary lord. They do not live in schools, they do not rely on one another. Every passing day is a day they must defend their domain alone, digging shallow pits in the sand to hide when the sun climbs high. Under the harsh light penetrating the water, the seabed becomes bright and fraught with danger. And so, they choose patience. Lying motionless beneath the sand, breathing gently through gills that filter the water, their eyes rotating 360 degrees to observe the world, they wait for the curtain of night to fall, to begin their true lives. When the final embers of twilight fade from the surface, the ocean transforms. The turquoise of the day surrenders to a deep, mysterious black. The temperature drops, and the daylight silence is broken by the vibrant rhythm of nocturnal creatures. This is the hour when the phantoms of the sand rise. From everywhere across the seabed, the sand begins to stir. The crabs shake off their blankets of camouflage, stretching their limbs to stand upon legs that are slender, yet deceptively strong. Hunger is the most precise alarm clock. The hunt begins. In the thick darkness, vision is no longer the ultimate weapon. Instead, the crab activates its hypersensitive chemical sensory system. Tiny antennae in front of its mouth vibrate incessantly, tasting every molecule of water. The ocean at this moment, to them, is an intricate tapestry of scents. The faint metallic tang of an injured fish dozens of meters away, the pungent odor of a decaying jellyfish, or the distinct scent of clams and cockles opening their shells to filter feed. All are irresistible invitations. Blue swimmer crabs are omnivores, and they are opportunists of the highest order. They are not picky eaters. Their menu ranges from small crustaceans, juvenile fish, and mollusks to carrion. They glide sideways with swagger, their massive claws raised in readiness. Let us speak of those claws, the instruments of destruction. They typically possess one claw that is larger, acting as a sledgehammer. With terrifying mechanical force, this claw can easily crush shells as hard as stone. Snails, oysters, or clams crumble under its grip. The sound of shells shattering under the pressure of a crab's claw is a familiar soundtrack in the desolate nights of the deep. The other claw is smaller, slender, and sharp, like a surgeon's scalpel, used to tear flesh and guide food into the mouth. The rhythmic coordination between hammer and knife turns the crab into a frighteningly efficient processing machine. But the crab is not just a surface hunter, they are diligent miners. Sensing the slightest vibrations from beneath the sand, the crab uses its pointed legs to dig furiously. Clams and blood cockles that thought they were safe buried deep in the mud cannot escape this relentless pursuit. There is something honorable about this creature. They are the diligent custodians of the ocean. By consuming the carcasses of other organisms, crabs help prevent water contamination, transmuting death into new life. They wander the seabed, cleaning up the remnants of other battles, keeping the ocean home pristine. It is a silent job, rarely acknowledged, but undeniably magnificent. But the ocean is brutally fair. The hunter is also the prey. Beneath those dark waters, the crab is not at the apex of the food chain. There are always larger eyes, sharper teeth, watching from the shadows. Threats arrive from all directions. From above, giant stingrays glide like deadly flying carpets. They use their massive wings to fan the sand violently, exposing the crabs hiding beneath. From the rocky crevices, the octopus, an ancient nemesis with intelligence and formidable muscle power, is always ready for an ambush. When facing a predator, the crab's warrior instinct awakens. They do not flee immediately. They stand their ground, raising their claws high, expanding their bodies to look as imposing as possible, donning a mask of aggression to intimidate the enemy. But if strength is not enough, the crab possesses a unique survival ability, a painful sacrifice known as autotomy. Imagine, when a claw or a leg is seized by an enemy, the crab will automatically contract its muscles, severing that limb from its own body. The detached claw continues to twitch, distracting the predator, while its owner quickly vanishes into the dense seaweed. It is a brutal decision to accept mutilation to preserve life. But miraculously, nature has granted them the power of regeneration. Through future molts, the lost limb will grow back, whole again, as if the separation never occurred. However, the external enemy is not the greatest fear. There is an enemy lying within their very own growth cycle. It is the process of molting. To grow, the crab must discard the old armor that has become too tight. This is the most vulnerable and dangerous moment in a crab's life. When the time comes, the internal body separates from the hard outer shell. It must use every ounce of strength to withdraw every leg, every claw, even the delicate membranes covering its eyes out of the old frame. It is an exhausting struggle that lasts for hours. When it first emerges from the old shell, the crab is known as a soft shell. Its body is as soft as silk, possessing absolutely no defense. It cannot pinch, it cannot run fast, and that soft shell releases a scent that is tantalizing to carnivorous fish. For 2 to 3 days, waiting for the new shell to harden by absorbing calcium from the seawater, the crab must live in absolute terror. It cowers in the deepest rock crevices, holding its breath, waiting for time to pass. Every maturation comes with a price, and for the crab, that price is a gamble with its own existence during its days of greatest frailty. When the new shell has hardened like cold steel and the body size has reached maturity, the call of the bloodline urges them to embark on a new adventure, the preservation of the species. The romance of the crab carries a strange color of chivalry and protection. Mating season usually occurs immediately after the female has finished molting, when her body is still soft. The male, like a knight, will find her and spread his arms to embrace her completely. This cradling posture can last for several days. The male crab is not only fulfilling the role of a father, but uses his own body as a shield to protect his mate during her weakest moments against the storms of the ocean. It is a beautiful image of bonding amidst the cold seas. After that brief encounter, the female bears a sacred burden. Millions of fertilized eggs cluster into a large, vibrant orange mass tucked beneath her abdominal flap, often called the sponge. At this moment, the maternal instinct rises stronger than ever. The mother crab knows that the shallow coastal waters, while safe for her, are not suitable for her unborn children. The salinity here fluctuates too much and is not high enough for the eggs to hatch. And so, a great migration begins. The mother crabs, heavy with eggs, silently leave their familiar waters. They head out to the open sea, seeking deeper waters where the currents are stable and the salinity is higher. It is a journey fraught with peril, as their heavy bodies make them slow and easily detected. But nothing can stop the march of a mother. When they reach the promised land, on nights when the moon is bright or the tide peaks, the mother crab begins to pump. She stands tall, vigorously flapping her abdominal flap into the current, releasing millions of tiny larvae into the vast ocean. That moment is like scattering stardust into the universe. Millions of tiny lives begin their drifting existence. These crab larvae, called zoea, look nothing like their parents. They are strange planktonic creatures, drifting with the currents, leaving their fate to the waves. This is the most brutal phase. Millions of larvae are born, but the vast majority will become food for fish and filter feeders. Only a tiny fraction, the luckiest and strongest individuals, will survive through a series of metamorphoses to become a complete juvenile crab. Once they have taken the form of a crab, they begin the journey upstream, from the deep ocean back to the sandy bottoms of the coast where their parents once lived. A closed circle is reconnected. From an aimless speck in the middle of the ocean, they grow, fight, survive, and continue the mission of passing the torch of life to the next generation. The life of the blue swimmer crab is a silent epic played out beneath the deep sea. There, one finds a fierce struggle for survival, painful sacrifices for growth, and a fierce love for the continuation of the species. For millions of years, they have remained there, under the cold sand, writing the ongoing story of the resilience of these warriors in ocean blue armor. And tomorrow, when the sun rises, those tiny eyes will once again emerge from the sand, proudly gazing upon a world that is entirely their own.